Hi, today's video is about why you could be gaining weight on Raw Till 4 and what your options are. This is inspired by my first fan mail, which was quite surprising for me to receive, but it raised the question of unlimited calories and why some people don't do so well on Raw Till 4 or why they're gaining weight. So it's an issue that I've seen in other videos as well, that kind of doubt Freely's point of view that it's about just staying with the program and doing it long term and doing it right to see the results. So I wanted to make a video on that and just to hopefully help people who want answers. So the fan mail said, "Hey Lee-san, first I want to say that I find you really cool and I love that you are also interested in health and nutrition like me. I like that in contrast to Freely and many others, you show some scientific studies in your videos. I write you because I'm really interested in nutrition and its impact on the body, in my case especially on body weight. I have a horrible past with disordered eating. It has been 3 months now since I started the 80-10-10, raw and cooked, because everything really makes sense. I feel better already in many ways, but I'm still gaining weight, and what is horrible for me is I'm 5'4", 1.62 meters tall, and already 70 kilos. I know there are some people who lose weight while eating all the carbs they care for, but some say that it doesn't work if you eat too many calories. What do you think? How many calories are healthy for me? Is it more like 2,400 like you or 3,000 like Freely? What do you think about calories?" So my answer is, it's great that you're already high carb and plant-based. That's probably the most important aspect of your diet that you've improved so far. But we want to find a way that's sustainable for you and will lead to your best health. As for the weight loss, I'll answer from a Raw Till 4 point of view and also from a starch solution point of view, because I'm in between the two and I don't have the answer on which is better for weight loss, because both work. It's just that with Raw Till 4, because of the unlimited calories, you do have to be more patient with the results. And some people just can't be patient, or they get really discouraged even after doing Raw Till 4 for a long time, or they might have other issues too with keeping with the program. So I just want to present another solution. So I'll go through the similarities between the two approaches to this plant-based way of eating. They are both high carb, low fat, and they stick with the 80-10-10 ratio. So 80% of calories at least from carbohydrates and a maximum of 10% of calories from fat and a maximum of 10% of calories from protein. They both promote the idea that you should eat until you're satisfied, and I think that the McDougall diet, the starch solution, is just a cooked version of 80-10-10. And the differences between the two are that Raw Till 4 tends to promote unlimited calories, and this would be upwards of 2,500 calories for women and upwards of 3,000 calories for men per day. And also with the starch solution, it limits the amount of fruit that you can eat. So while in Raw Till 4, obviously you try to eat as much fruit as you can during the day, and then after 4 o'clock for dinner, or just whatever meals you have after 4 o'clock, that's when you have your cooked foods or your starch-based meals. Calorie restriction could result from following the starch solution, because it doesn't really emphasize calorie counting. It just promotes the idea of just eating until you're satiated and not necessarily going over that threshold. Whereas with Raw Till 4, they encourage getting a minimum amount of calories just to make sure that you're getting what your body needs and that you're not starving yourself, because a lot of people come from a past of restriction, and I understand that the people who promote Raw Till 4 like Freely and Durian Rider don't want to promote this attitude of restriction. So if I were to answer from a Raw Till 4 point of view, I would say stick with the program for long enough and smash in the carbs as much as you care for, and even beyond that if you can, in order to reach your caloric needs, which is 10 grams of carbs a day per kilo of body weight. So for me, I would need to be eating at least 2,000 calories just from carbs, and so the total would be about 2,400 calories minimum if 80% of my calories are from carbohydrates. So the surefire way to lose weight is to eat less calories than your body needs, but we want to focus on health and energy, not just weight loss. So you have to choose a caloric intake that you can sustain. If you restrict now, you'll pay for it later when you decide you weren't eating enough. And here are some tips for more rapid or just better healing on Raw Till 4. The first tip is to use chronometer to track your caloric intake, because if you're new to the lifestyle, you won't necessarily know how much you're eating and how many calories you're getting. So it's useful to track it, and I know it can be a tedious process, but it's a learning curve. So I think it's better to keep track when you're new to the lifestyle. And it helps for later on, even when you stop counting calories, at least you know you can estimate how many calories you're getting every day. The other tip is to make sure you're not deficient in vitamin B12. It's not just vegans who get deficient, meat eaters can as well, but it's good to check. Also make sure you're sleeping enough, 8 to 12 hours a day, as much sleep as you care for. Exercise. So the Raw Till 4 lifestyle, the reason they promote so many calories is because they also promote exercise, and that is part of a healthy lifestyle. I don't think anyone can really be sedentary and at their maximum health. So that is why they promote so many calories. You do need to exercise, and that will speed up your metabolism. And also drink enough water. So the guidelines are to be peeing clear regularly during the day and a few times at night. I think Duran Rider says 8 to 10 times peeing clear a day, and personally I don't follow the guidelines for at night. I just make sure I'm peeing clear before bed, and that before breakfast and usually before my meals I'll drink water. Another tip is to give yourself time to heal with the fruits first. Try to get the fruits in earlier in the day, and try to keep it high fruit in your diet for as long as you can. If fruits don't work for you, then try more starches, but keep your caloric intake the same. So make sure you're still getting the minimum of 10 grams of carbs per kilo of body weight a day, and that's just the minimum. Now here are the reasons that you could be gaining weight. The most common is past calorie restriction and disordered eating, and this tends to take the longest to correct. You could also be bloating from poor food combining. So one tip to reduce this could be to have your water-rich fruits earlier in the day and the denser foods later at night, so that the faster digesting foods don't run into the slower digesting foods. Also, you can be more aware of your sodium intake and try to keep your sodium under 1,000 milligrams a day, because excess sodium can cause water retention, and while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just can be discouraging if you're gaining weight that way. The other reason is that you're too sedentary. So obviously you need to exercise, even if you just go for a walk every day or every second day for half an hour, listen to a podcast. So do something to get your body moving. The other reason is that you could be eating too much food late in the day. So try to get your calories in as early as you can in the day, and that way you can use up that energy. You could also be having poor sleep habits, and you could have imbalanced hormones. So those are the reasons you could be gaining weight on Raw Till 4. And once all of these are addressed, then you can be sure that it's not simply because you're getting too many carb calories. And most people become lean and stay lean eating this way once all these other issues are sorted out. So if someone weighs 70 kilograms, I would recommend that they eat at least 3,000 calories a day, if that's what you can manage, because as a heavier person, you would most likely need those extra calories for energy. I only eat 2,400 calories because I weigh less and I'm quite sedentary. And if I was to be more active, then I would eat more and I wouldn't be afraid of eating more, because I see my food as fuel. I don't see it as it's just making me fat, or I just don't see it that way, really. And also, since you're new to the 80-10-10 or Raw Till 4 lifestyle and have come from a past of disordered eating, it's hard to tell how long it will take for your body to heal and how long it will take for your metabolism to start speeding up again. But all I can say is that if Raw Till 4 is what you're going to do, then you have to commit to it long term to see the results. And you'll never know that it worked for you unless you try it. So those people who are saying that it didn't work for them, they probably didn't do it long enough. Either because they were scared of not getting results, or they were just discouraged because they were gaining weight. So my advice would be to just be brave and give it a go for long enough, and then you'll be able to prove it to yourself whether it works or not. If you've been on Raw Till 4 or having unlimited calories and you're still gaining weight, then I would recommend the Starch solution. I know that some people find it very hard to get in calories, or they feel discouraged when they gain weight, when everyone else seems to be losing weight, and that it can be a stressful experience to count calories. So if you're finding it stressful, then my advice would be don't count calories and instead eat until you're full. And this is a warning to not undereat on the Starch solution, because it can be easy to undereat if you're not counting calories. So this is just something to be aware of. You'll know that you're not eating enough if you find yourself hungry when you go to bed, or hungry during the day, or you're craving the denser sources of calories like animal protein or fat or junk food. Also, if you feel quite hungry soon after your meals, you may not be eating enough at mealtime. And you can fix this either with healthy snacks in between your meals, or just increasing the caloric intake at each meal. Also, keep track of how you feel and your fitness and your strength. If you feel like you're getting fitter and stronger, or at least you're not losing any fitness, then you're probably on the right track, regardless of whether you're counting your calories or not. If you feel just as satisfied with eating 2,400 calories a day as with 3,000 calories a day, then stick with that. Take into account your activity level and also what you aspire to. If you aspire to the fitness level of someone like Durian Rider, then you will have to eat more calories. You have to follow his advice if you want his results. In time, you will get results either way, whether on Raw Till 4 or the Starch solution. It just takes more patience on Raw Till 4 than on the Starch solution, because with unlimited calories, your body does have to adjust to more calories, so it will gain weight at first. I'll let you decide what you want to do, but my advice would be, just general advice would be to eat the plant foods that you enjoy eating the most, whatever keeps you off the animal flesh and secretions, and eat what makes you feel more vibrant and satisfied. Portion sizes will be bigger naturally with whole plant foods, but don't let that scare you into eating less. The high carb vegan lifestyle is about abundance, not restriction. Use chronometer if you want to keep track of calories, and if you're not keeping track of calories, then just be aware of how your body feels. Don't let yourself get hungry. Eat enough so that every meal carries you to the next, and if it doesn't, then you have to be very wise about what snacks you're eating, and just make sure it follows the Starch solution guidelines. I'll just read out part of the testimony of a man who lost weight on the McDougall program, His name is George Sanders. So this man lost 106 pounds in 1 year following the starch solution. And he didn't count calories, but he also didn't restrict. So this is what he said of his experience on the McDougall diet. If after one plateful of food I was still hungry, I would go back for seconds and even thirds. I never left the table hungry. Being a volume eater, this way of eating fit me perfectly. I could easily find foods that satisfied my taste buds and hunger drive. I never worried about staying full. If I got hungry, I would just eat, simple as that. I didn't worry about how many meals or snacks I had, as long as the food was compliant with the program. Eat the right foods and you will lose weight. So I hope that helped. And if you have any questions, or even if you disagree with anything that I said, just let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you have an experience that you want to share with Vortex 4 or the starch solution, just let me know and let my viewers know so that they can also decide what they want to do. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.